Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back. It's been a while. Apologize for not uploading a video in a while. I'm going to be doing it a lot more often. Times have just been crazy. Now with this whole coronavirus thing, as you can see, I'm not in the same place I was last time. Not in my own home. Family took off, went down south when the virus started to pick up, and we're just kind of hanging out here until who knows when. So I figured this would be a good time to probably do some videos, so I'll be releasing more. Today I want to talk real quick about rifle reloads. In my previous videos, if you've watched those, if you haven't, I suggest go back and watch those videos. Check them out. I basically go over the basics of dry firing, rifle setup. I have one on concealed carry. I'll be doing more on pistol. But in regards to rifles, that's what I'm going to do today. So go back and watch those videos. I discuss the basics of how to get used to your carbine and get used to your rifle when you get it, whether you're, a street cop or whether you're for, in an agency where they issue you an AR-15 and you don't get a lot of training. We all know that kind of is how it goes for the most part. Unless you're in a really good department or agency, you're probably not going to get much training. If you don't know much, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you guys out. And so go back, check out my previous videos. What I want to go over today, once again, is reloads, rifle reloads. Don't want to take up too much time. I want to make it basic, easy, understandable, so that you guys can start figuring out the most efficient ways for you to reload your rifle. There are a lot of ways out there that people are teaching to reload the rifle, your AR-15. There's some older versions, there's some newer versions. Basically, I'm not going to tell you what you should be doing or what is absolutely the best way. I'm going to tell you what works for me, and where I got the ideas. So I got right here, check it. I have my 10.5 inch. I'm going to be using this today. Still kind of putting this together, but it works for now for our uses. So I talked about before in one of my other videos, getting a sling. One thing I recommend that will actually help in your reloads in a lot of areas, going back to what I said, is having a 2-point sling. The 2-point sling I've found, and some people like 1-point sling. If you like a 1-point sling and it works for you, and you like the benefits of it and don't mind the drawbacks, that's all you, no problem. I like the 2-point. I generally get, like I've said before, better stabilization in my rifle manipulation and moving around my gun. So once again, whenever you're doing dry firing, stay safe, keep safety. I got these 2 steel mags. These came out of one of the armories a long time ago. They actually have crapped out on me, so I put X's on them. I don't know if you can see that, but there we go, yeah. I have X's on the mags. Just steel GI mags, and I use these for dry fire because I'm not going to use them on the range anymore because they don't really work. They don't feed very well. So what I'm going to talk about today is actually, I'm going to be doing my reloads from a battle belt. Now, if you don't have a battle belt or if you don't have a mag on your hip, that's not a big deal. A lot of guys are running chest rigs, plate carriers, whatever it may be, where you have stuff across the chest. Another time, I'll probably do a video on wearing chest rigs. And it will be essentially the same, just you'll be grabbing the mag from a different spot. So you can adjust accordingly. So I'm going to be grabbing from this mag right here. I just carry one mag on this belt. I'll talk about belts a little bit later. So the basic reload methodologies, there's probably more out there, but I'm going to talk about 2 of them in particular that people tend to do. And there's people who are married to one or the other. I think there's a time and a place for both reloads and both techniques. So the first one is the one that you've probably seen more often than not, and that is going to be the tuck method. So getting the gun to your workspace and tucking it under your arm. So when you're practicing reloads, you can do this, add this in with your dry firing, and just do the same dry firing stuff that we went over in the previous videos, work on the basics, work on the fundamentals. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the tuck. And basically what that tuck is that if you're firing, make sure it's locked back, if you have an empty mag, for those of you who are new to this, if If you have an empty mag, your mag goes dry, and you fire or you pull a charging handle back in dry firing, it's actually going to hold the bolt back for you, so you can see it's empty. And that's how you know. The more you shoot, you'll just be able to feel that. One thing that some people used to teach is when you're firing and it goes click, your gun goes click, to check that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say don't do that, because if your gun goes click and it's not firing and you need that thing to fire, honestly, who the freak cares? Who the freak cares? Right off the bat, get a new mag in there, or you could do a tap and a rack, but don't be all checking it and diagnosing it. That's probably not what you want to do when you're if you're in a gunfight. So malfunctions we can do later, but for this purpose of the reloads, the more you fire, you're going to start to feel and know when that gun goes dry. You won't have to check it. You're just going to feel it. It sounds different, it feels different, and you'll get a feel for your weapon, and you'll just know when it goes dry. So for the dry firing, pull your charging handle back and have it locked back with an empty mag. Make sure your mags are empty. Stay safe. So I know all my stuff is empty on me right now, so we're good to go. So the tuck method is when you're firing, bang, 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 and you get a click and it doesn't fire anymore. What this method is you're going to drop the mag while the gun is still straight up. Don't tilt the gun. Don't do any of that. Let gravity take the mag out. If you're tilting it, you see people sometimes shaking. It's because they tilt the gun, or sometimes it gets gritty, but generally they're not letting the gravity pull it straight down. So what you're going to do is hit the button, drop the mag. That's the first thing you want. And then you're going to tuck it under your arm. So you tuck it under your arm, so you lock it in. So everything is right in front of your face. As soon as you do that, you're going for your mag. What I want you to do for grabbing your mag, I don't want you to grab your mag like this. The reason why is because I've found, and I've seen a ton of times, and you can ask a lot of guys who've been shooting a lot, and they've probably seen it as well. I've seen guys hit it, and you can lose your mag because you don't have a really good grip. Monkey grip it. So when you grip it, you want your thumb kind of up next to that little divot that's in the mag, that little nub, whatever you want to call that thing, and really grip it so you're holding on to the mag. You can do it like this. I like my thumb up. It just gives me a good index point. So when you grab your mag, grab it deep and good, pull it out, and you're going to watch it seat into the rifle. Now what this is going to do, having your hand up high in that monkey grip, is it gets your thumb in a good position to be pretty close to that mag release or that bolt release. So what you're going to do is as soon as you put that mag in, you hit that bolt release with your thumb. And then you get the gun back up. And now you're all set and ready to go. So one thing also that I've seen with this and the other way of doing it is I've seen, and maybe some of you guys have been taught this, I know a lot of Marines are taught this, a lot of guys are kind of taught this, is they slap it with their palm. I'm going to go ahead and tell you not to do that. And the reason why I'm going to tell you not to do that is if you watch someone on the range or you do it, what you're going to inevitably see is people just smacking the side of the rifle. And they're not going to hit it. There's a lot of depth in your palm, and they're going to be missing. Just use your thumb, okay? Just use your thumb, and you won't be missing. You'll get used to hitting it with your thumb. You're not going to miss. You're not going to be slapping the side of your rifle, and you're going to get that bolt forward faster. So once again, a recap. The mag that I dropped. The tuck method. So you're going up, you're firing, bang, bang, bang. Rifle goes dry, there's a click, you know it's empty. Drop the mag, tuck it, pull a new one, put it in, and get the rifle back up. Simple as that. When would you use this? You could use this really anytime you want. Anytime you want to reload, you could use this method. And it works great. And I think there's other areas, and I'll talk about in a second, where there's a more useful method or a better, more efficient method, but this method is really good. I know there's going to be guys that probably watch this and come at me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of different methodologies out there. I'll tell you when it works for me. When I use this method, when this works for me the most is if I'm running while I reload. That tends to work, or if you're up close to a barrier, or you have someone around you to where you can't keep your rifle up. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. But like I said before, when you're running, if you're shooting and then you're having to move and reload, it's just easier to keep the rifle locked into that spot to set that reload if it's locked under your arm. Now, I'm not saying that the second method I'm about to show you can't use, because I've used them both interchangeably when I'm shooting and in my training. And I found I can do either method. It just depends on how I'm feeling in the moment. Practice them both. So that's the first method. Tuck it under your arm, secure it under your armpit, get it in there so that you have it right in front of your face where you need to reload, and then you can push the gun back out to get back in the fight. So the second reload that I want to show you, this is the one that I actually do the most. And the reason why is because it's less movement. I actually learned this. I know guys have been doing it for a while, and I was kind of, I don't want to say I was slow to the game, but I kind of stuck with the other one for a while. I first learned this method from someone who I know who came back from working with one of the tier 1 units out east, and he was doing a workup with them before deployment, and in the process of doing that, they showed him this way to reload, and we kind of talked about it. We trained on it when he came back, and I really like it. I'm significantly faster on my reloads with it because it's less movement, and all that is simply keep it simple, keep it stupid. No need for extra move or for extra rifle movement. Is when you reload, so you're going to be doing the same thing. Got the gun up, you're firing, bang, 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 bang. The gun's on empty, you know it's on empty. Drop that mag while it's straight up again. Keep it right in your shoulder, drop the mag, and keep the rifle shouldered. Okay, just keep it locked into your shoulder, grab your new mag, and you're still right on target. So the benefit for that, obviously, is it's going to be faster. Almost every single time, unless you got a dude out there who's been running the under the arm at a really high rate for a really long time, who can do it super fast. That's awesome. If that's you, go ahead and do it under the arm. But I like keeping it in the shoulder pocket because it's less movement. You don't particularly have to reacquire the optic to your eye. You don't have to re-shoulder the rifle. You don't have to do any of that stuff, any of the extra movement. You keep the rifle up, and you're able to get the mag in, and you're still right up there ready to fire. I found that I was able to cut significant time off of my reloads by employing that method. And like I said before, I've used this method of keeping it in the shoulder pocket while running, while moving. I've used it. Sometimes if I'm getting there and I'm getting a little too joggy because I'm running over rocks or whatever, sometimes I'll tuck it. It just depends on the situation. There's not a one way and only one way to do it. Train and practice both of these methods. See what works for you. When you get out on the range, when you end up going and actually putting rounds down range, hopefully you're in a place where you can move. And you can try both methods on the move. See what's going to work for your body type, for your run, for your gait, the way that you move. See what's going to work for you. I've seen some guys that cannot keep the rifle up for the life of them while they're moving, and they just fumble with it getting the mag in. And I've seen other guys that can just move really fast and get the mag in and run the gun. One guy to look at for that is go check out the guys at X-Ray Alpha. They're extremely fast. Those are some experienced shooters. I've worked at the highest levels and compete at the highest levels, and they're extremely fast on the reloads with both methods. And you'll see them interchange them. So I would say go and practice both. They both work, and above all, find what is going to work best for you, what makes most sense for you in how you're going to operate and how you're going to employ your weapon. The thing to think about is that for those of you with an agency, those of you in a department, or you civilians that are wanting to train, or military, whoever is watching this, when you're training reloads, I kind of like what Bob Keller said. He said it's not the most important thing in the world is to train the slide lock reload, or to train the reload. And not because it's not an important thing to train, but because I honestly, and maybe there's someone on here who's going to watch it who's going to yell at me for this, but I don't know very many guys, maybe one at the top of my head that I know who I've talked to who in combat has ever ran a slide lock reload. And the reason for that is, you know, someone who's been in a lot of gunfights will tell you that if your gun runs dry and you need to do a really fast slide lock reload, you messed up somewhere down the line. You should be able to control your weapon. You shouldn't be putting yourself in a situation, ideally, to where you're going to have to be running your gun all the way dry, and then there's a dude right in front of you. You got to run a freaking, you know, sub 1 second reload. So those are just things to think about. But with that being said, to be proficient, practice reloads until you're good at them. Practice reloads. A really good time standard for being able to get a reload in with shots that you can shoot for and you can work for, and you can run this dry firing at home. Run this with, you know, your sticky note on the wall and try the different reloads and practice both ones and see what's going to work. A good time on a shot timer is about 3 seconds for a shot to reload to a second shot, to an A zone or a high A zone. Ideally would be high chest. So what that means is go out there, go home, put yourself on a shot timer on your phone, or if you have a shot timer, use that, and get the gun at least below your eyes. Now, if you want to really practice starting low, practice starting low. But for the 3 seconds, you know, I think it's fine if you're shooting it from right below your eyes. So you're looking over your optic, and on the beep, snap the gun up, fire, drop the mag, get one in, and fire again. And do that until you can get it smooth, until you're getting that mag in every single time without issue. Once again, a good time for that, a really good time, is if you're able to do that sequence in 3 seconds and be having your dot hit that mark, your sights hit that mark when you break that trigger, you're in a good place. That's a really good time. That's a really fast time. Obviously, there's dudes that are doing it way faster, but that's a fast time. If you show up doing it in 3 seconds, you know, I'm going to give you an applaud. So that's something to shoot for. So once again, get out there, put something on the wall that you're dry firing to. Obviously, you're not going to get a click when you have an empty chamber and it's racked back. So you can just simulate. Once again, safety's on, safety comes off, pull the trigger, nothing happens, drop that mag, put a new mag in, and fire the gun again. Now, one more thing of controversy, and I don't think there should be controversy, is do I put the gun on safety when I reload? Now, I'm going to leave that up to you. There's a lot of guys that say, why would you not? Because the gun's coming from your eye. I understand that. And in that case, if you're just starting out, I would say the safest bet is to practice the muscle memory to put the gun on safe. You might be saying, well, yeah, but if I have the rifle up and there's someone in front of me, I'm just having to reload fast, I know I'm going to pull the trigger again, and so why put it on safe? Well, if you practice it, you're not going to lose any time, first of all. Second of all, that's not probably generally going to be the case of the situation. You can't situationally game it, essentially. I found situations where I'm doing reloads in training or whatever to where I put the gun on safe because maybe I'm dropping behind a barrier or behind cover to reload. And in that case, maybe I have buddies around me, or I'm taking my eye off of what I'm shooting at and I want to put the gun on safe. Or I'm running. If I'm running and I'm reloading, I'm going to another position to fire. So I fire and I'm out and I reload and I'm going up to another position. You want that gun on safe while you're running. So if you're just starting out, I would say you're not going to lose anything by defaulting to putting your gun on safe when you reload. So as soon as you drop that mag, you flip that rifle back on safe as you're going for your second mag to put in. And then when you get the gun up, put it back on fire and take those shots. So I would recommend practicing that. Some guys swear that you have to do that. Some guys say you don't. Some guys, you know, that I've talked to, they basically say the same thing as when you're going to use both. There's too many variables to tell you always do this or always do that. That's going to be up to you, but always train for the worst case scenario, essentially. So once again, get out there. Whether you're on the range or whether you start in your house, I recommend starting this dry fire. Get that gun up, set yourself on a timer. When the timer goes off, snap that up, pull the trigger, click, get the new mag in, and click. And shoot yourself on time. and work up to it. So that's it with the reloads. Shoot me a comment below if you have any questions. I'm not currently active on my social media at this time, so you won't find me there for some reasons. But as of right now, shoot me a comment on here if you have any questions, if you have any comments. But those are the reloads I think you should probably work on, and that's just the basics. Once again, work the fundamentals, work safety, start slow at first until you get the feel for it, and then start speeding it up. Put yourself on time, and hold yourself accountable. So have fun, get better, stay safe, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. Peace.